Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, so Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows has been trying to move his case from state to federal court. And when I've thrown on that before, what I saw from that was that Mark Meadows really felt it was going to be extremely advantageous for him to be in federal court. I really wasn't understanding why. I think I watched Bo, the Fifth Column, and he kind of put his finger on it, which is basically if Meadows can make the argument that he was acting in his capacity as a federal employee to get this into federal court, then that same argument could be used to leverage and because I was a federal employee doing federal things, I can't be held criminally liable for it, and then get the case tossed out. That's kind of the Texas two-step process with this. So, in basically a gambit to see if he can get this thing tossed out altogether, he went and testified on Monday for about 3.5 hours. Now, a lot of legal pundits looking at this are like, no defense lawyer will let their client testify in something like this. And one was, even somebody who was a former district attorney said on CNN, I'm absolutely amazed he's taking the stand. And that basically taking the stand usually does not work out well for the person who took the stand. It does not tend to work out in their favor. So he testified, and this is kind of the entertaining part of it, was that when Meadows' attorney said at the conclusion of the hearing that his client was, quote, entitled to a prompt determination, unquote, i.e. a ruling by the judge responded that he was going to take his time because he thinks the ruling will set precedent for other cases. And it will, because multiple people are trying to pull this same maneuver. But here's the great line at the end. The judge said, if I don't rule by September 6th, then Mark Meadows should show up for the arraignment. It's you kind of have to do that for Mark Meadows, because he was the one that was trying to not be arrested by Fonnie Willis. I needed more time, and I have a case on Monday, and I may not need to be arrested if I get my case on Monday. And Fonnie Willis said, yeah, you're going to turn yourself in at noon on Friday, or else we're going to go looking for you. And then Judge Jones said, yeah, you better turn yourself in. So he did. And now they're trying to pressure the judge to make a decision. And the judge is like, yeah, no, I'll be taking my time on this one. I'm not rushing this decision. Okay, so you're caught up. 3 minutes in. How did Mark Meadows' testimony go? I'll just ask that way. For entertainment purposes only, Spirit, how did Mark Meadows' testimony go? I don't think Mark Meadows really understands how badly he just messed up. And not only did he mess up for himself, but he messed up for other people too in this one. I don't think, when I've done readings before, I didn't see this case being moved to federal court. I saw it being kept in state court because there's too much there. There's too much of a burger in that nothing burger. There's betrayal and disappointment. I don't think this is going to work out the way he wants it to. Crossed by the star. Ooh, people are feeling betrayed because he did this. He's looking out for himself. He's not looking out for the group or the collective. So while he's looking out for himself, people got betrayed. I believe I did hear something, probably from TikTok or something, that basically in order to clear himself, he had to throw Trump under the bus for everything. So that could be one of the betrayals, is that it wasn't me, it was Trump. I just did what Trump told me to do, type of thing. My Page of Pentacles is a card I use for disinformation or election interference. So this is in regards to the election interference case. Yeah, he basically threw Trump, probably Giuliani, and somebody else, Sidney Powell, under the bus to save himself. In the past is Eight of Cups. I think he's known that he's been in big trouble, and he's been trying to figure out a way to get out of being in trouble. He was cooperating, it appears, with the feds. He gave over a lot of text messages and stuff like that, But for some reason, they're not letting him off the hook in the Georgia conspiracy case. So he's trying to find a way to get himself out of this. Current situation is the Two of Wands. He took a roll of the dice. This is a gamble that he took, and he thought he was going to do okay with it. I'm not so sure on that. Now the judge has got to evaluate it. The judge is going to look at all the evidence that he talked about, and he's going to have to evaluate what he said, and not only how he will rule for Mark Meadows, but how he's going to rule for other people who are going to put forward that same argument. The judge is going to take his time reviewing this. He's going to keep a lid on it. Nothing's going to be leaked early. I mean, again, it's just the judge doing this one. But don't expect to hear the answer until the judge gives the answer. Out comes the High Priestess. I think the judge is going to have asked the right questions, gotten the right information, and is going to make the wise decision on this case of this election interference. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what is that right answer? Let's find out. Lover's card. The fighting and squabbling, and an end to things. I think that the judge is understanding that this is a conspiracy case. And while some people might have better arguments than others to get this to federal court, in the end of the day, this is a conspiracy and it needs to be held together. To let some people out would kill the case. And he's not going to be the one that kills this case. So I think he's going to put an end to this. And that's going to cause an uproar amongst the people trying to get out of this. I don't think he's going to let 4 or 5 people out and then the rest of the people suffer in state court. My guess is, looking at this, that he's going to look at this case and just say, yeah, no, I don't think so. So I'm sticking by my original prediction that this thing's going to stay in state court. I think I've watched Sterling say that if it does get moved to federal court, that Fonnie Willis would still be involved in it, or maybe she gets replaced and she's still involved with it. I don't remember quite what it was on that one. But my opinion from reading these cards is I think this is going to stay in state court, and there's going to be a lot of unhappy people with Mark Meadows for that choice. But let's ask. So, Spirit, when Judge Steve Jones makes his decision, how's Mark Meadows going to feel about it? Little four-carder. Maybe that'll help get some clarification. I think from the clarification I got that he's going to make a very... You know what? I think the decision that the judge makes with the High Priestess, think of that as being the most benevolent outcome. Whatever decision he makes is the most benevolent outcome. And we may or may not agree with his decision. But trust that if he makes that decision, he was making the correct legal choice on it, and it'll have the most benevolent outcome. So maybe if it stays in federal court, maybe things get worse. I don't know. I'm not familiar with RICO cases. Okay, so how's Mark Meadows going to feel after the judge gives his verdict on whether or not this is going to go to federal court? Wheel of Fortune. This is what was underneath my previous reading. Wheel of Fortune, taking a chance, spinning a wheel, coming round and round. Maybe it's no this time. Let's see with the Judgment. Backroom dealings. 4 of Pentacles. Temperance. How is he feeling? It's kind of fated. Whatever's going to happen, whatever happens, he deserves it. And it's because of the work that he's done in the past and who he's been involved with. If he gets this to federal court, it's because he had backroom pressures. There were backroom deals being done, maybe with agreements with other people in the past. again, he had worked with. It looked like he had worked with the feds, and it looked like he had worked with Georgia on things. So I'm not quite sure why they were bringing him on charges, but maybe the problem was he didn't reveal everything that he knew. He held on to some information that would make him look bad, and he's going to be judged for that. I think, okay, so you know what I think this is? I think it's going to go back to the states. He might appeal to see if he can get out of it, but I think the reason why it goes back to the states is that he was working with the state and he didn't give him all the information. He wasn't candid, he wasn't forthcoming, and it nullified any agreement that he had with the state, which that's probably telling me why he's that's telling me I've been musing why, I thought he worked with them. That's what that read just told me. It didn't tell me how he's going to feel. It's telling me why he's in the position he's in now. The reason why he had the charges against him was he was working with the state, but he got what he deserved because he wasn't honest, candid, and forthcoming. He probably lied. He probably lied by omission. He got caught on it, and then he got charged. Okay, so now that Spirit has given me the answer to that, we will ask again. How will Mark Meadows feel about Judge Steve Jones's decision with his appeal to move this to federal court? How's he going to feel? Is he going to be happy? Is he going to be sad? Feel betrayed? Feel victorious? Come on down. Entertainment purposes only. I think he's going to feel smug. He might actually get this pulled off. There's your election interference, unless this is the judge. Being left out in the cold. If it goes to the state court, he gets left out in the cold in victory. In the chariot. I think he actually succeeds. I might have to take that back. I don't want him to succeed. Okay, now is this the judge or is this Mark Meadows? If this is Meadows, he was concerned he was going to be left out in the cold, but he's got a victory here. And it's about the election interference. And the trial moves on. I think that he might actually get this moved to federal court. I don't want to believe that happening, but I think he's going to get that moved to federal court. Now, if he does get it moved to federal court, I still don't think it's going to work out for him. I don't think he's going to get this thing tossed out. The chariot, no, it's going to just keep on keeping on there. So, my intellectual mind says no. The judge is going to kick this back. If the judge does allow this to go to federal court, I don't think the judge is then going to allow for this case to be dismissed. I just don't know who that Nine of Cups is. If that Nine of Cups is the judge, as opposed to Mark Meadows, I think the judge is going to leave him out, is going to put him out in the cold, and it will go back to state court. Not being a very good tarot reader, if I don't ask. Okay, come on. Let's see if I can get an answer on this one. Otherwise, I'm going to have to throw again in a week's time. All right. That Nine of Cups. How will I feel about it? Come on. Will Mark Meadows get this thing moved over to federal court? Come on. I want to try and see if I can get a definitive answer. Judgment. Will he get it moved to the quick decisions? Money. Fighting. Hierophant. This could be your Fonnie Willis right here. Judge comes back with his judgment. The decision is moved back. And fighting from advantage. And the government underneath it. I don't know. Guys, I really don't know. I don't know how to translate this. I guess the only thing I can really come up with on this, the way these cards are coming up, is if it goes to federal court, it's not going to make a difference. He's going to be held to account regardless. It's not going to be dismissed. I don't see it being dismissed. If it gets to federal court, I don't know how it gets there. I really don't, because to me, it seems really obvious that he was not acting in his capacity as a federal employee, because that's a violation of the Hatch Act, which is basically federal employees aren't allowed to campaign, which is what that was doing. That's why I think it gets kicked back to the state court. But there's obviously more to consider than just that. So trust the judge on this one. We'll find out the answer soon enough. Maybe as we get closer to September 6th, I'll throw on this one again just to see if I can get some clarity. Because right now, I can't tell you the answer. I'm not translating the cards right. All right. Well, thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for all your likes and comments and shares and such. I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel grow and helps me reach out to more people and get the message out. Thank you. Have a great night, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.